Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Yeah, welcome to Going In Raw Countout, the only pro wrestling show on this particular channel on YouTube.com/Stephen Larson, where you can find countdowns.
Take a couple days off. Look what happens.
Oh, it's a mess, man.
Everything just off the rails.
What is today? When? So
this is going up Saturday. Today is
okay.
Wednesday. We have taken a couple days off to celebrate
the
Christmas.
Holidays, yeah. And then tomorrow is New Year's Eve?
No, well, yeah.
From when this goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we're ending 2017 with a whimper and heading into 2018 with a bang. I don't really know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me neither. So anyways, on this episode of Countout, as you probably saw in the title and thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the best matches of 2017. We didn't go back and watch these matches to confirm that they were the best.
No, but I usually write decent notes while I'm watching these matches. For a few, I didn't.
Yeah.
So a couple of them is going to require jogging the memory banks.
Well, that's okay.
I'm old. Memory banks aren't as proficient as they used to be.
Yeah. Also, these are I think it was Regal on Twitter. William Regal on Twitter said something like, "Everybody can say what their favorite matches were, but not everybody saw all the best matches of the year because there's some that weren't televised or live streamed or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
These are, this is basically our favorite matches.
These are the best matches we saw.
Yeah, we saw exactly. So we'll just hop right into it, and a lot of these matches, even though I didn't go back and rewatch them, I think back and I'm like, oh yeah, that was good.
Well, I think there has to be something special about a match for it to stick with you.
Exactly.
And these are the ones that stuck with us.
That's a great way to put it right there. Number 10. Usos versus New Day at Hell in a Cell. This is their big blow-off match. After this, they went into their Oos Truce.
Yeah, the next SmackDown, they declared an Oos Truce.
They said because this was the culmination of, they had a lot of matches.
Yeah, and they're all good to great.
They were all so much fun. Like, so many fun matches. And this Hell in a Cell match between the Usos and the New Day, number one, I can't remember last time I saw a tag team match in Hell in a Cell.
I think it's been a while. I think Legacy and DX had a Hell in a Cell tag match.
Oh, okay.
Years ago.
I really wasn't watching that.
Nor was I. I've read about it, though.
Mm-hmm. But this was a lot of fun. It was, I think, probably the best Hell in a Cell match that night.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just chock full of creativity. There's all sorts of stuff that we saw in this Hell in a Cell match that I had not seen in a Hell in a Cell match before. It's obvious these guys went in there trying to do something different. And
yes.
Too often in Hell in a Cell matches, the Hell in a Cell is sort of incidental.
Yeah, it's a secondary feature of the match where, like in the case of Owens and Shane, it was a Hell in a Cell match strictly, seemingly, for Shane to jump off it.
Yeah.
It could have been a cage.
But even in other instances, and I'm not talking about that pay-per-view in particular, but in years past, it's like they don't even use the cage sometimes.
Yes.
It's like, but in this case, it was obvious that they wanted to do something very specific to Hell in a Cell, something that, and this is what Hell in a Cell should be, something that you can't do in another match.
A normal cage.
Exactly. This is something they only could have put on in Hell in a Cell.
Yes, and I think that was embodied perhaps the most in that one spot where the New Day trapped Jey Uso in the corner of the cage using kendo sticks.
Yeah, that was great.
And then proceeded, I think, to do the unicorn stomp on him. Well, they beat him up a lot.
Yeah.
But there were several other spots where, like when Big E had Jey up on his shoulders. Oh, sorry, I got the backwards. Big E was on Jey's shoulders, and Jimmy did a suicide dive through the ropes.
Yeah, that was great.
Knocking Big E into the cage.
That bit where they handcuffed Xavier Woods around the ring post, that was cool. And they just laid into him with kendo shots. That was brutal. And there was that great, I think it was like an Instagram afterwards where Xavier Woods showed off his scars,
his welts,
his battle wounds.
Yeah. There's that crazy spot where Big E did a Uranagi on Jimmy onto Xavier Woods' knees. We saw this last week on SmackDown too, but this is the first time I think, and they did it to the off the apron on the outside.
Yeah.
And wow, that looked like it might have hurt.
Yeah, this was an amazing match, and it was definitely inappropriate at this point. It's kind of a throwback, kind of reminiscent to the end of Sheamus and Cesaro's singles best of 7 series.
Yeah,
where it just became obvious that nobody really. I mean, yes, the Usos won in this situation; they came out with the titles, but in terms of the finality of their feud, you know, they both came out very much on even levels.
Yeah.
And there was no more reason to continue it going. This was the perfect end to the perfect feud, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, their SummerSlam pre-show match was really good too. Why it was on the pre-show still boggles my mind.
I don't get it, man.
I don't get it either.
Anyways, moving on. Number 9. Velveteen Dream versus Alistair Black at NXT Takeover War Games. This was one of our favorite feuds of the year.
Yes.
It warranted one match. I don't even know where Velveteen Dream has been.
Well, on TV they've been saying he was hurt during this match.
Yeah.
But who knows if that's
true.
true.
He hasn't been in any of the he hasn't been in any house shows or anything.
No.
Like he hasn't been anywhere. So maybe they're just doing a really good job of kayfabe, or
he's hurt,
or he's being punished.
They're not sure how to proceed with his character next. Who knows?
I kind of like, if that's the case, I kind of like that. Just keep him away.
Yeah,
to build the mystery of where he's been. And
I know,
then turn that
because
into a story.
The intrigue of this feud was fantastic.
Oh, it was great. It was so simple. It was so perfect. It was simply a matter, and there was no titles. It was Velveteen Dream wanting recognition from Alistair Black. That's all it was. And the catchphrase was sort of, say my name. Yeah. I want you to say my name. And this match gave us that in the end. And I called this from the get. Alistair Black got the win, but Velveteen Dream got Alistair Black to say his name. He earned his respect, his validation. That's all he wanted. But in the meantime, it was a fantastic match. Really, really good.
A lot of good character work, some really good technical wrestling to kick things off. And then like one of the craziest DDTs I've ever seen.
That was fantastic.
I still don't even know how he did it.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Velveteen Dream. But in the end, Alistair Black wins with the black mass, and then as you mentioned, afterwards he sits next to Velveteen Dream, grabs the mic and says, "Enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream."
And what a great line.
Didn't look at him. Just kind of glanced over a little bit.
Line. Enjoy infamy. What a great line. Also, we can't forget that Velveteen Dream had maybe the best pants.
Oh, those are incredible.
Of 2017. It was a throwback to Rick Rude when he used to spray paint his opponent.
Airbrush.
Airbrush. And so on one side it was Velveteen Dream, on the other it was Alistair Black, and then he had NXT, I think, on his buttocks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And then he had "Say My Name" across the waist.
Yeah, that's right. It was
spectacular.
It was great. What a great coming out
way
party
to embody an entire feud in one clothing item.
In pants, exactly.
And it was really good airbrushing too.
Oh, it was great airbrushing, I know. Number 8. Ember Moon versus Asuka.
NXT Brooklyn 3.
Now, I feel like this is the match that we probably should have had at NXT Orlando, because
I think their match at NXT Takeover Orlando was really good.
It was like 3 minutes long.
It was 12 minutes long.
It was 9. I think it was 9. I think it was a lot shorter than that.
It's a lot better than you remember it being.
No, it wasn't. I think my main thing was Ember Moon really should have been the perfect sort of foil for Asuka. She really should. They should have taken this.
NXT Takeover.
Well, bully for you. I feel like this feud needed more meat to it, and I'm not sure if it was because Ember Moon got injured.
Yeah, I think that was it.
And they were doing a lot of weird stuff with her character that was like, just, I don't know, it just missed the mark every time. However, this match gave us what I feel like we should have had the entire time. This was a fantastic match.
Yeah.
And it solidified Asuka's reign as best thing in 2017.
Yeah. This was her last match in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Ember Moon got off to an early advantage. Asuka started working the left arm to soften her up for the Asuka lock.
Yeah.
And in one of the most shocking moments in NXT this year, Asuka kicked out of the Eclipse.
Yeah.
And for months and months and months, they even did this angle where Billy Kay was kayfabe sent to the hospital because of an Eclipse. Yeah. They built up the Eclipse as like the strongest move in NXT.
Yeah.
And yet Asuka kicked out of it.
Yeah.
When that happened, you knew
it's pretty shocking.
Asuka was going to win this match.
Yeah, that was absolutely shocking.
And sure enough, she did. She reversed a pin attempt into an Asuka lock. Moon tapped out. Their feud was pretty good over their 2 matches.
Yeah.
It was good. The matches were good.
It wasn't what it should have been.
But it culminated in a nice moment when Ember Moon won the NXT Women's title at War Games, and Asuka came to the ring to present her with the belt. Nice moment between the two of them. Even during Asuka's ceremony when she vacated the title and left NXT, nice moment between her and Ember Moon. I'm really excited to see their feud continue on the main roster. Probably pretty soon.
You think so? You think it's
Next
gonna happen
couple of
pretty
years.
soon? Next couple of years. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, that should be good. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. If
You should really rewatch the Orlando match. It's really good.
I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? There's so many other matches I haven't seen. I saw that one. Did I see
Not even
Orlando?
Sure
we were there live.
Yeah, I don't think you're really paying attention.
Oh no, we watched that one on.
No, we were there.
We were there live.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Man, my memories. Yeah, because I was like, yeah, we went to Orlando.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know what to tell you, man. Didn't like it. Number 7.
7.
Universal title match at SummerSlam 2017. Of course, this is the fatal 4-way between the monsters, Brock Lesnar, Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. This is maybe the funnest match of the year.
It really was. It wasn't a technical masterpiece, but didn't have to be.
Yeah.
Because there was just chaos and violence.
The build
everywhere.
to this match was so great because what you just said is exactly right. It really made Raw for the second half of 2017 because every single episode had Braun or Joe or Roman or Brock just destroying things, just all out carnage. Nothing could contain it. And so they had this SummerSlam match, this fatal 4-way, and it was everything that we knew and hoped it would be and much more.
And it really was a showcase for for Braun Strowman. It really was.
For Braun,
this was the
exactly.
night he really became a star.
It really was. It really was.
If I remember correctly, instantly this match just broke down to absolute chaos nearly immediately. Everybody's fighting around the ring, eventually back in, back out. Probably the most memorable moments were Braun Strowman power slamming Brock Lesnar not once but twice.
Oh, that was great.
Through the announce tables,
Yeah.
and then dumping another announce table on top of him. Literally the first time, for sure, since Brock came back from the UFC, maybe in his entire career, where he was taken out on a stretcher.
Yeah.
And the look on Paul Heyman's face when all that happened. Thinking, the possibility dawning on him that his client, Brock Lesnar, is going to lose a Universal title to one of those 3 other men. I forgot about this until reading the notes. In between the 2 power slams, Braun throws an office chair at Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe. I love that they were using office chairs as projectile weapons this year on Raw.
That was good. That was good. Yeah, that one of the build-ups or one of the Raws preceding this had, in my opinion, the better office chair throw.
Yeah.
Where Braun, I swear, to like a football, he palmed the office chair
And threw it at Roman Reigns.
and threw the perfect spiral at Roman Reigns.
Yep.
And Reigns sold it like a champ, dude. Oh man, it was great. Boy, there was so much.
There was
fun.
that great moment that after Braun destroyed Lesnar, he's kind of leaning or sitting on the ring steps, and kind of like collecting himself in another perspective, soaking in what he just accomplished.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
Everybody else was laid out. He was the only man standing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Braun kind of had control of the match for a bit after that, hitting people steel chairs, doling out choke slams, and then Brock comes back.
Yes, we all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, we did, but still. Interesting storytelling. Good storytelling.
Yeah, and it was great because it sets up WrestleMania, this coming up WrestleMania, because the finish saw Brock reverse the spear into an F5, got the pin on Roman Reigns. So, and I still believe that the last time we see Roman get pinned for a little while, anyways, at least through Mania,
It's going to be this match.
is going to be this match.
Yeah.
Because I think the sight of him getting pinned is going to be something that they're not going to give us until he passes the baton probably over to Braun for a spell.
Yeah, I had actually forgotten about this until I read the notes. Apparently, Reigns hit a spear on Brock, and Lesnar kicked out at SummerSlam.
Oh, ooh, interesting.
So there's something that's going to take more than one spear to beat Lesnar.
Yeah, well, because right now one spear beats everybody, doesn't it? One spear
Beats
Superman
most
punch?
people except Undertaker. I think it took 3 or 4 spears to
Oh yeah, well that's different.
beat Undertaker because he has powers of the darkness.
He
obviously.
right now Undertaker. He has powers of darkness.
I don't
Exactly.
believe Brock has such powers.
Well, I thought he took the powers of darkness
Oh,
from Undertaker.
who? Brock or Reigns?
Brock.
No,
Reigns
not really.
doesn't have it.
No,
No,
but Brock doesn't have it either.
he just has the streak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think
Does
Undertaker.
Roman have the streak now? No, he
No.
has to beat Brock for the streak.
Yeah,
They should make a streak belt.
they really should. I mean, Bray Wyatt just made himself a belt. Yeah, it looked cool.
That was a great looking belt.
Yeah, man,
That was a fantastic looking belt.
that was a good looking belt.
Man. Then he just got beat up by Matt Hardy.
I know.
Number 6.
6
War Games at NXT Takeover War Games.
War Games.
Oh, man. This was the most fun match of
Talk
2017.
about chaos.
Oh, this
violence.
This is great, man.
And crazy spots.
This saw hosses fly, other hosses throw other people at other people. Adam Cole, baby.
I forgot about that. Where Authors of Pain were just launching everybody from one ring to the other. That was great.
That was fantastic. This match absolutely justified Authors of Pain sticking around a little bit longer than we figured they would. It justified Killian Dane as being a future main event player.
Yes.
And it justified Undisputed Era of just sort of being around, even though they're really tiny.
Yeah, but it's with this match, they kind of established living up to their name. I mean, granted, Adam Cole isn't in the Fatal 4-Way that's happening tonight, Wednesday.
Yeah.
For new number one contender to NXT title. But Redragon are your NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yep.
So they're 2/3 of the way there of being the Undisputed Era
Yeah.
of NXT. Eventually, Adam Cole's going to get that belt. I don't know if Redragon will sell the tag titles, but...
I think we're going to see probably at some point them, maybe at Orlando, we'll see all three of them standing tall.
Well, there's not going to be a takeover in Orlando again. You mean WrestleMania weekend?
New Orleans, yeah. Yeah, the takeover in New Orleans. Anyways.
We had a couple days off. Talking's hard sometimes, man.
No, I just associate WrestleMania with Orlando.
I know.
Or they're not going to do it there again this year. Yes, New Orleans, sorry. It's sad we're not going to be there.
Well, we can still go.
I don't want to go. It's too much, man. It's like too much money. We got taxes to pay. We're gonna have
true.
an office now.
I know.
I want to be sitting there collecting that super chat money.
All that responsibility.
Exactly. Anyways, no, this is a lot of fun. We're not going to go through just bit by bit, but we got to see what was your. Let's just ask this. My favorite spot of the match was Killian Dane going coast to coast.
Oh, that was incredible.
What was your favorite spot of the match?
Well, I guess I can't say that one. It was when Adam Cole was sitting on both ring posts, soaking everything in, and everybody else laid out.
Yeah.
Where I don't think it had anything to do with any of the carnage
Right.
that laid before him.
Yeah.
That didn't stop him from posing.
Right. It was great.
The superplex off the top of the cage.
That was fantastic.
Onto everybody that Roderick Strong did to Adam Cole.
Yeah. The setup, they were so careful.
Oh, I know.
Because they're like, we're very high up here. Okay, here. Let's just. So it was like just two people cooperating completely.
Oh yeah,
to get superplex
safely as possible.
Exactly. But oh boy, that must have hurt. Oh, that's scary.
I believe it was preceded by an Adam Cole baby.
Yeah, I think it was
there,
too.
Getting ready to do something like a splash. You know what I find funny? I find it funny that I think in the handful of matches that Adam Cole has had so far in NXT, he's already done more like high risk top rope type stuff.
Oh, I know.
Than he ever did. That I'm aware of.
Yeah, he spent time like he cameoed in New Japan for a couple matches and he didn't do that stuff.
Yeah, but like when we saw him at PWG, one of his kind of the more humorous aspect of his matches that he would the Young Bucks would do something high risk and crazy and he would tease like he was going to do it and then do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He seems to have thrown that aspect of his character.
I know. Usually they go safer when they end up in NXT or WWE. Of course, though, there's one of my other favorite bits was when what's his face, Alexander Wolf shows up
with a baton.
He gets out to the baton. It's like those things can mess you up, man.
Oh yes,
those things can mess you up. And then at the end of the match, he ended up somehow I forget.
He does a German suplex through the table and busts his head.
It looks like he got shot in the head.
Yeah, he started bleeding everywhere.
There was that other great bit where Kyle O'Reilly gave himself an unprotected headshot.
Yeah,
with a chair.
Yeah,
that was great.
In the end, though, Adam Cole picks up the win, pinning Eric Young after a Shining Wizard with the chair in the way.
Yeah, that was great.
Undisputed Era win.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Tons of fun.
Boy, it was so much fun.
Lots of fun.
Number 5. Ricochet versus Lio Rush at PWG. Only kings understand each other. Now
we got to go to a couple PWG shows this year. Thankfully, had a blast.
This is in the first one that we went to.
Yeah, in February, we went to this, and then night 2 of Battle of Los Angeles. And I think we both think this was our favorite match of the 2 shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'd be remiss to not include one PWG match that we got to experience live in person on this list.
For me, it was this and
Joey Janela and Sammy
Guevara.
Yeah.
That just came out of nowhere. Like so this is on here primarily because the number 1 is Lio Rush
and Ricochet
and Ricochet. I mean, 2 of the fastest, most athletic, and great storytellers. In this, Ricochet was playing a heel.
Yeah,
or he had the heel role.
Well, it was heel, but
he
was the veteran versus this was Lio Rush's first match. I think in PWG.
Yeah.
So Ricochet was like, "All right, you think you've done some cool stuff outside of here? This is PWG. I'm here to show you how it's done."
Now, I had never seen a Lio Rush match before.
Yeah,
and this honestly, it took me back when I saw this live. It took me back to when I saw Rob Van Dam for the first time, not realizing that things like that could be done in a wrestling ring. Because you guys have probably seen his one match I think they've had televised in NXT.
Yeah, against Velveteen Dream, where he stopped on a dime and turned 90 degrees.
Oh, it's crazy. Like the things this kid can do are absolutely fantastic. I hope if the rumors are true and he's got some attitude issues in the Performance Center or in NXT, I hope that stuff gets sorted out. You hate to hear about that, especially with the guy with so much potential.
Yeah.
And I hope whatever issues there may be, if they do exist, hopefully they're figured out and he gets all the TV time this year.
Yeah.
Because man, this kid is so much fun to watch.
Yeah,
and
he's
to watch
back on the doing house shows.
Right. Yeah.
So.
And then we were both aware of Ricochet, and we both seen I think plenty of Ricochet up to that point. But to see him in there with somebody, Ricochet is rarely in a ring where he is not the most athletic guy in the ring.
Yes.
And to see him in there with a guy who is probably his equal.
Oh yeah.
With Leo Rush, it was so much fun to watch. The storytelling was fantastic. Really, just an absolutely beautiful match. So personally speaking, I didn't see this on any like top lists or anything like that, but this is just like a personal favorite of ours.
In the end, Ricochet picked up the win. And even though there was some tension between the two during the match, I believe it culminated in a handshake.
Yeah.
Crowd chanting, "Please come back" to Leo Rush.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
All amazing stuff. We're about to see Ricochet. We could see this match in 2018.
Oh, entirely possible.
Ricochet
in NXT.
In NXT, yeah. Number 4. Kazuchika Okada versus Minoru Suzuki, New Beginning Sapporo. So this is the first match back from
Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Okada, of course, at New Year's Dash in 2017. Suzuki-gun returned to New Japan from being in Pro Wrestling Noah for a number of years.
Yeah.
It made a huge impact, destroying Okada in Chaos, I believe, to close that show, setting up this match at New Beginning, which is the first major show post Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
And now, beginning of this year, we were more or less completely unaware of what happened in New Japan on a show-to-show basis. So we had just seen Wrestle Kingdom. We had just witnessed the brilliance of not only Kenny Omega but Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
But then you see Suzuki coming in, and he's like 50 years old. And you're like, what is this guy going to do in the ring? I mean, he looks badass.
Yeah, right.
He looks tough as nails.
And he had a cool crew with him.
Yeah.
Again, it was like New Year's Dash. Oh, Suzuki-gun came back. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, we had no idea.
I don't know what that is. But they all look very cool.
And so then we start hearing, like he had a really good match against AJ Styles at the G1 3 years ago. And we start hearing about the legend of Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah.
And then this match happens. And then you think, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, and then you see like Suzuki every time he's near a young lion, he has to beat them up.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I totally understand this guy.
Yeah. It makes total sense. So this match happens, and Okada gets beat up pretty good by Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom. I think the match went about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
This match was also very long.
Yeah.
They go into this match with Okada having a compromised knee, and Suzuki just works it, but it's never a one-dimensional story.
Right.
And this is the match I usually go to when I talk about the use of submission holds in New Japan versus use of them typically in WWE. Where in WWE, if there's any sort of submission move that happens during the middle of the match, for the most part, especially when they work the arms, I feel like when they do a basic arm bar in the ring, it just feels like a rest hold for the most part.
Yeah.
Whereas I think more often than not, New Japan, but especially in this match, every move had a very distinct purpose, and there was meaning behind it.
Yeah.
And in the end, Okada hit a Rainmaker, picked up the win, but it came at a cost. He got that leg worked over hardcore.
Yeah, and it played into the entire story leading up to this coming January 4th, where we're going to see him take on Naito, and he's probably going to drop that title finally. But it's just going to be it's basically been his most triumphant year and his most trying year.
Yeah.
Getting these victories out,
but at a very steep cost.
At a huge cost. I mean, we had Okada. Any number of his matches. We could have put Shibata in here, but good Lord, like that headbutt really freaked me out.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like, you know what? That's like a step too far. And we've seen how that's played out.
Yeah, that was a fantastic match.
But it was a beautiful match.
Yeah,
it was such an absolute. It was so physical. It was so beautiful. It's an absolute tragedy that Shibata, ended up basically ending his career.
Yeah.
But this Suzuki match was just a beautiful match. It was fantastic.
Great storytelling. Great wrestling.
Yeah. Number 3.
3.
DIY versus the Revival versus the Authors of Pain at NXT Takeover Orlando. Ooh, we were there for that one.
Yeah. This is, I mean, we were there, and I remember being enthralled for the full duration of this match because it was an elimination match.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the one match I think I might remember least. Maybe because I was there and I was so into it.
Oh, that could
so
be.
into the moment.
Yeah.
Moment by moment storytelling of it.
Yeah.
That it wasn't necessarily... Because most shows, I sit here with my laptop and type notes as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So I have a record. So if I ever go back and re-jog the memory banks, I can. But even doing a brief little bit of reading about it, I'm like, I remember some creative spots. I remember there were some creative spots.
I remember certain things. I remember more emotions than anything, especially when it's a live show. And so I definitely remember by the end of this match, just knowing that nobody's going to be able to top this. What was the main event at Orlando? Was it Rude versus Shinsuke?
Yeah, the rematch.
Yeah, and I remember just thinking nothing is going to top this match. It was like one of the best matches I've ever seen live. The story of Revival and DIY and the Authors of Pain was a level of creativity in all of their matches, regardless of what combo we were looking at. And given that, the Authors of Pain essentially are there to be big, strong, mean guys.
Yeah.
But they can do some very, very creative stuff when DIY and Revival are in there at the ring. That's why it's been so sad with the Revival, that they've been sidelined so much.
Yeah.
Is that we haven't gotten that sort of shot of creativity on Raw where they are now. And I really hope that's something that we do get to see.
Yeah, they've yet to have Revival, a high-profile pay-per-view match against a top-notch team. And
similarly, it's a bummer that we're not. I mean, I don't see. Look, it's wrestling; they can do whatever they want. But I don't see DIY ever getting back together. You know what I mean? And
not for a few years.
Yeah, for a few years, exactly. I mean, they were so creative as a tag team, and that bond that they had, which made it so much more heartbreaking when they eventually broke up when Ciampa turned heel. Because their matches, especially with these two teams, there was just something special about every time they got in the ring. Yeah. And this was the culmination of all of that.
Yeah, because 2 days later,
the Revival got called up, right?
Yeah. They were on Raw, yeah.
Yeah. So, it was just absolutely beautiful match. We don't really need to talk about specifics. So,
no, I guess not.
Yeah.
Authors of Pain won. They eliminated DIY first.
Okay,
and
there you
Revival.
Go. There you go. So that's all you need to know. It's a great match.
It's great. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to do that this next week too, so I remember it better.
That's a good idea. Number 2.
2.
Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne at NXT Takeover Chicago.
We could actually include the entire trilogy of their matches. They were all fantastic.
Oh man! Yeah.
First match, the finals of the United Kingdom tournament, happened very beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Second match in May, NXT Takeover Chicago, and then just last week on NXT. They had another stellar match.
Oh man, each one really upped the ante,
and each one very different.
And I think this one here probably takes, I said this before in our recap of the episode last week when they had their third match. That in a vacuum, I think that match is probably my favorite. But given that this is NXT Takeover, it was live,
hot crowd,
super hot crowd. Didn't know what the outcome was going to be, even though we had a good feeling about it. All of those circumstances sort of elevates this one. And the match kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, granted, we saw what they could do at the UK tournament.
Oh, this was leaps and bounds better than that.
It really was. And I think that took everybody off guard. And that kind of plays into, oh, my God, this was like amazing.
Well, and also I think this one had, of the three, the more kind of spectacular spots.
Yeah.
It was faster paced.
Yeah.
The one they just had, the rematch, was vicious,
a bit
brutal,
more physical and brutal,
a more deliberate pace. But they were just telling a different story.
And this was just a clinic, man. I mean, they start going and it's like, oh my God, look at these guys doing things that they're taking the British wrestling game from like, the late 80s or the 80s, and they're just like making it cool for today. You know what I mean? Like they're just adding their own twists and turns to it for today's business. And it's something that you don't see a lot of. I can't wait to see. Hopefully they have big things planned.
I know. Imagine if they gave these two guys another match at a high-profile show.
I know.
A match at WrestleMania.
I know.
How incredible would that be? Give these guys... I mean, this match was 15 minutes. Let's give them 12. Give them 12 minutes of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know.
Put the United Kingdom Championship on the card. Have this match again. That huge of a stage. That large of an audience. You make two massive stars.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I mean, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are already beloved by the NXT universe. WWE universe.
Yeah.
But get some of the casual fans to see wrestling of this caliber. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, the potential is there for WrestleMania 34 to have a lot of really good matches. We have, say they do that, they do Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. I don't think they will, but hypothetically, say they will. Let's say we get AJ versus Nakamura.
It'd be huge. Yeah.
It'd be incredible.
Listen to this. What if they did Jinder Mahal versus Baron Corbin? Huge. Sorry. I was doing that impression the entire drive from my house to the office.
Oh my gosh.
I was cracking myself up big time though. And sometimes I do that, man. So I'm over my sickness, but I still have like the remnants of a sick voice right now.
Yeah.
So I've been doing Brian Cox a lot, just on my own. I've been in the car.
I feel like it'd be a soothing voice to do.
It is. It's so much on. My God, man, do you ever clean this car? Anyways, so yeah, it was a great match. Number one, the Okada versus Omega trilogy.
Not a huge surprise.
Yeah, no, man, come on. I mean, it's like the 3 best matches ever, maybe. And they're all on the top spot. Because here's the thing,
well, I figure it'd be unfair for everybody else if we include each match individually.
Yeah, I know.
And collectively, they tell a story.
I know, exactly. So, man, my God, what a great...
You preferred the second one. That's your favorite.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I don't know if number one, I don't know if I've ever seen a time limit draw match that I've actually been really into, and I've been totally fine with the time limit draw. I think that's kind of the thing, is that usually a time limit draw, it's like, okay, so they don't want to change the belt, whatever. This time limit draw had a very specific reason for being a time limit draw.
Yeah,
it fed into their story so perfectly. And on top of that, what it did for Kenny Omega's story and leading into their third match, in terms of he had this match thinking he's got all the time in the world, and they go to the limit.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, if he only had moments more, he could have had it.
Well, if Okada only had moments more, he might have won. He hit a Rainmaker right as time ran out.
Exactly. So there was just, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like they really need to do the thing like they did back in like the 1920s and give him 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because...
Or best 2 out of 3 falls, something like that.
Something like that. Because this was so much... It was... 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
60 minutes.
Yeah.
60 minutes. And you're sitting there the entire time. It's like I've seen Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. And half the time you're like, I'm going to go to the kitchen. I'm going to do whatever. The entire match. There was nothing about it that was like, oh, man, they're getting through this bit. They're getting through this 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No, the entire match was fantastic.
I mean, there's that one spot where Okada goes for a Rainmaker and Kenny collapse from exhaustion.
I know.
Well, what? I'll admit, I kind of had the result of their second match spoiled for me before I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
So it took a little bit of the drama out of it. So for me, I kind of have more fondness for their first match. Mm-hmm. And part of it is because I think, there's the top rope dragon suplex. It looked like nearly broke Okada's neck.
Oh, yeah, no.
From a spot standpoint.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then, Wrestle Kingdom 11 was my first real introduction to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah. And for that reason alone, I'll always have a spot in my heart.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful match.
It is.
All of them were, yeah.
Yeah, but, the first match was the story of, at least from Kenny's perspective, of not being able to get off his finisher.
Yeah.
He got off in the second match, but was too close to the ropes. Okada put his foot on the rope, but he could never get it off again. The third match at G1 semifinals was Kenny finally got the finisher off, finally got off in the middle of the ring, was finally able to beat Okada.
Yeah.
And it's just a great culmination of a story, literally told in 3 acts.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to see how these matches would play out, watching them back to back to back.
You're right, yeah.
Sitting down for, 2
hours
and 15 minutes.
That I'd love, I wouldn't mind doing that
and
at
just
all.
watching them all.
Absolutely.
Right in a row.
Yeah, you'd be aching afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal matches.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like you said, I mean, the first one, when I saw that, I was like, I didn't, again...
Didn't know wrestling could be that way.
I didn't know wrestling could be like that.
Yeah.
And so I remember at the end of that, that was one of my favorite wrestling moments of 2017 or even ever, was starting. I was like, let's check out this Wrestle Kingdom. And I started it, and I was live tweeting it with people, like other people who happen to be watching it. And that was a lot of fun. It was like one of the times that Twitter isn't like a pile of crap.
Yeah.
And I start off, okay, well, they got the New Japan Rumble coming up. Whatever, this should be fun, stupid fun. And then like everything Wrestle Kingdom did, I was into. And so I was up the entire 5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, I've never had like a show keep me in it the entire time to that degree. And so I absolutely have a very special place in my heart for that first match. It was absolutely beautiful. And I was thinking to myself, well, nothing's going to beat that this year.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the more we watched, the more we saw Okada versus Suzuki. We saw Okada versus Shibata.
We saw several matches between Kenny Omega and Ishii.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was
all the stuff going on in the junior heavyweight division. That was great.
Right. Yeah. We saw all that stuff. And so when you step aside and then to go to, I don't think I watched the second one live. And I was able to not spoil it for myself. I think I woke up and I just didn't sort of look at Twitter, or I looked at a little bit and didn't really pay attention. And then I sat on my couch and watched it. And it wasn't until like 50 minutes in, I was like, oh my God, they're going to go to a time limit draw.
Yeah.
And I was like that. Oh my, I can't believe they're going to do, and I couldn't believe they were going to do that. And they did it. And it was like, holy crap. What a perfect ending. And it's a time limit draw.
I know.
You know, it's so great. So, and then the third one was just fever pitch, fever pace. And it was, you know, because Kenny understood, well, I don't have time to dick around.
Well, I think there was a time limit for the second match, too, because in the semifinals, I think it was a 30-minute time limit. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. The pace of that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So, I mean, look, it's not, in my opinion, it's not hyperbole. Like, these are some of the best matches that, and granted, you know, we haven't seen every damn wrestling match under the sun. There's a ton of matches we've never even heard of that are probably amazing classics and 17 stars. But in terms of, you know, what we've seen in our 20 years of watching wrestling, maybe more.
Yes.
Well, you were watching WrestleMania back when you were a little kid.
Yeah, in 85.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch WrestleMania 1 live, but I used to rent the VHS all the time.
There you go.
So 85, 86, yeah.
So in our collective... Well, collectively speaking, like 50
years
of watching wrestling. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, people would be hard pressed to top this series of matches.
Right.
I mean, I think the only trilogy that probably stands the test of time as well
was Flair Steamboat.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, anyways, those are our top 10 matches. Our what are we calling this episode? Matches we like best?
No, those 10 best matches of 2017.
Nice. Definitive.
Yeah, why not?
Definitive. Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments. Until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.